to know about a particular group of people or a particular segment of the society to offer a product or service for them, then please try to understand, try to collect data about their age, their choices, their attitudes, their willingness, their preferences, their priorities. Collect this data and look at the previous success and failures. While you are not the first person, you are not the first company dealt with any particular product for a particular society. So please try to focus upon the previous result. What sort of, what are the factors made previous one successful, and try to meet those factors. Create buyers preferential product and conduct survey, and to understand their preferences, needs, wants, and demands, please conduct survey regularly and keep an eye on your competitors. Please do not focus only on the audiences or only the customers. Please make your competitors your study point, because your competitor may identify any particular success points what is missing till to you. Therefore, they are competitive in the market. So keep eyes on your competitors' marketing programs as well. Monitor audience feedback and comments and engagement. Please try to engage with your audience and monitor their comments and listen to them. Experiment with content and updates your products and services. While getting feedback from your customers, from your audience, please try to update your product. Try to make your product according to their choice. Thus, you can know your audience better. In this chapter, we would like to discuss about communication approaches. To discuss with the communication approaches, we shall go through communication as transmission, communication as rituals, communication and publicity, communication as reception. In the first one, communication as transmission, this approach defines communication as the process of transmission of messages and integrated by the source. In this these aspects of communication, initial of the communication is considered as important factors for the communication to take place. This is adoptive views and define communication by various terms like imparting, sending, transmitting, or giving information. This is mainly digital form of communication as transmission. Second one is communication and rituals. This approach is defined communication as participation. The communication is defined in terms of such sharing, participation, associating, fellowship, and the process of common faith. This is rituals from religious aspect, from social aspect, from cultural aspect, common faith, common behavior are considered here, and the rituals is preferred as expensive model of communication. Then communication is as publicity. This approach defines as communication as the process of influencing minds of others through messages. So this is publicity and public relations. It calls audience capturing and display attention model because it looks communication from the viewpoint of catching visual and aural attention of the users. So this approach of communication always try to influence the target audience, the customers, to get their attention. Communication as reception. This views has its roots to a critical theory, that is reception analysis, where the approaches has shifted the importance from technical to semiotic approach. The communication is defined from the perspective of receivers. Here, the sender sees himself as the receiver of this communication. So what sort of feedback should it provide is discussed here in this particular chapter. In this chapter, we'll discuss about communication process. To discuss this process, we will define the following 8 issues: types of inputs, filters, values, beliefs, past experience, prejudice, feelings, and environment. First one is communication inputs. What types of inputs provided for communication? For example, in spoken, the input should be listening. Output is hello, I mean speaking. While someone speak, then while sender speak, then receiver listen. So this is in this form, listening is the input. In writing, reading is the input. Before writing anything, we should read it carefully. Filters, distraction, emotional states. So these are the filters for communication. For example, while we transmit a message, it should not be encoded when it will distract the receivers, or it should be neutral from emotional states, beliefs, and expectations. For example, any sort of public messages should be belief neutral. Differences in style and sub-projection, these filters could be used for making communication effective. Values, spontaneity and flexibility. While communicating with others, the communicator and the receiver both should be spontaneous, and they should be flexible. If something is wrong while encoding or decoding the messages, then they should have empathy, and they should think equality and shared power. Here, the authenticity and honesty of communicator is also important, and acceptance of affirmation, confidentiality, maintaining trust and confidentiality also important. A communicator should be open, and he should disclose everything with authentic information. Beliefs, this is spiritual aspects of communications, and moral aspects, social aspect, intellectual, economic, and political aspects of communication. So these are the different types of communication. For example, in a spiritual meeting or in a public lecture, religious public lecture, the communication should have one format, and while it should be morally acceptable, and in a social gathering, the communication approach should be another one, and while using your intellectual capacity should be one sort, and in types of political or economic communication, it should be another one. So use of past experience to make your communication effective. As a person, you are not communicating today for the first time of your life. You have communicated it earlier as well. So please use your past experience to make your communications further effective. Prejudice. What is prejudice? Prejudice is a baseless, often negative perception or attitude towards a member of a group. So prejudice is the human behavior while you just decide anything before understanding, before taking, before talking, before knowing information about anything. So while you see someone and you decide something negative about it. So this sort of prejudice is also a very effective, a very powerful communication barrier. And negative feeling and stereotypes, beliefs, and tendency, in maximum cases, these are false. Feelings. Emotional awareness or ability to understand feeling will help you to success when communicating with other people. If you would like to be a successful communicator, you should have feeling about your counterparts. While you would like to feel something, and then your communication will be effective. you will be also better understand while others communicating to you and why he is communicating like that. Please try to understand this. Why he is acting like this, why he would like to, he is aggressive, why he is not passionate, why he is passive. So try to fill the communication process to make it effective. Communication environment. The environment may be formal, informal, or it may be business or non-business entity. While we communicate in formal environment, this is one where bosses, fellow colleagues, staffs, and everybody are from a different background, and they are working in an organization to achieve its goal. So this is an environment, but when we communicate with our friends and peer groups, this is another environment, that is informal environment of communication. So whereas environment means all elements that surrounds us during communications. The communication environment means exchange of ideas, news, views, messages, and informations of emotions due to influence of various